Imagine walking into a room where the stakes are high, the personalities are strong, and the outcome could reshape your organization. That's executive level negotiation, and it's not just about winning, it's about aligning, influencing, and building trust. I'd like to take a moment to share a recent personal deal where my negotiation skills proved essential. Recently, I closed a real estate deal in Connecticut that tested every negotiation skill I've developed. The property was a multi-family rental with non-paying tenants, deferred maintenance, and a price tag that didn't reflect the risk. The owners were firm on their asking price, but I saw an opportunity not just to buy, but to negotiate strategically. I reframed the conversation from purchase price to the total cost of ownership. I highlighted the time and money they'd lose managing evictions, paying the mortgage during vacancy, and funding construction to make the property market ready. I didn't just ask for a discount, I showed them the cost of delay. In the end, I secured the property as is with a $50,000 reduction. No eviction battles, no renovation delays, just a clean close and strategic win. That deal wasn't about pressure, it was about perspective. Negotiation is a daily practice for executive leaders, occurring in small interactions and high stakes decisions. What makes negotiation an executive imperative? Executives negotiate across organizational boundaries and functions with regulators, vendors, and internal teams. It's not just about outcome, it's about relationships and reputation. Negotiation is a leadership behavioral skill, not a transactional skill. Negotiation requires emotional intelligence, strategic foresight, and cultural fluency. Kotter's 1999 Leading Change emphasizes that successful change requires building coalitions and aligning stakeholders around a shared vision. Negotiation is embedded in this process, as executives must balance competing interests, secure the buy in, and manage resistance. By framing negotiation as a coalition building rather than confrontation, leaders can create momentum for change and sustain trust across diverse groups. When you approach negotiating from this perspective, you will realize it is not a one time event, but an ongoing leadership skill that strengthens, aligns, and drives organizational progress and change. Now, I will discuss the four influential techniques that work when negotiating. First is BATNA, BATNA, acronym for Best Alternative to a Negotiated Agreement. Always know your walkaway point. In my real estate deal, my BATNA was walking away and finding another property. By knowing that option, I had leverage to push for a $50,000 reduction without feeling pressured to accept unfavorable terms. Next is interest over positions. Focus on underlying needs, not surface demands. The seller's position was, we want our asking price. Their underlying interest, however, was to avoid the hassle of evictions, mortgage payments, and construction delays. I focus on those interests, not just the number, which opened the door to agreement. Third is active listening. Validate the other party's perspective before asserting your own. By listening to the owner's concern about time and effort, I validated their perspective. This made them more receptive when I reframed the deal as a way to save them stress and financial loss. Last is framing and reframing. Shift the narrative to uncover shared goals. Instead of debating the asking price directly, I reframed the negotiation around the total cost of ownership and the risk of delay. That shift in narrative helped the seller see the value in selling as is at a reduced discounted price. Now let's talk about executive level negotiation. Executives face layered negotiations, legal, financial, and reputational. They must balance assertiveness with diplomacy. Here are some key insights that will help with negotiating at the executive level. Number one, strategic patience. Executives must know when to pause the negotiation process, escalate negotiation to a higher level of authority, or pivot the discussion. Next is coalition building. Negotiation often involves aligning internal stakeholders before external ones. Last is cultural intelligence. In global or diverse situations, understanding cultural norms is non-negotiable. Now let's discuss what works for me. My negotiation style is defined by three qualities: calm, persistence, and evidence-based reasoning. I approach negotiation as a process of alignment. Staying calm allows me to diffuse tensions and keep conversations constructive. Persistence ensures that I don't abandon the negotiation process when obstacles arise. I continue to seek solutions until progress is made. And lastly, evidence-based reasoning gives my arguments credibility. I rely on data, documentation, and clear analysis to persuade rather than pressure. This approach has served me well in both real estate and in my professional career. In one branch, I noticed that our wire transfer approval process was slowing down both staff and customers. Even for lower value transfers, the procedure required district level approval, which meant delays, frustrated clients, and extra workload for the team. Instead of pushing for immediate change, I approached the issue calmly and persistently. I gathered evidence by reviewing transaction needs, customer complaints, and efficiency benchmarks to show how the current process was costing us time and trust. When I presented the case to leadership, I framed it as an opportunity. By allowing branch level approval for smaller transfers, we could improve customer satisfaction, empower employees with decision making, reduce bottlenecks, and still maintain compliance safeguards. My persistence, backed by clear documentation, shifted the conversation from resistance to acceptance. Eventually, the bank adopted the revised procedure, and the results spoke for themselves: faster service, happier clients, and stronger morale among staff. As I wrap up, I want to reiterate that negotiation is a leadership art. Negotiation isn't about winning, it's about aligning values, building trust, and leading with clarity.